Hello, how are you? Can you hear me okay? Okay, I want everyone to get up. It's late in the day here, and we need to do some stretching. Okay, unfortunately, I'm using an iPad, and we're having some issues, so I'm going to be saying Sam every time I want him to change. So change it up. Are you guys having fun yet? Excellent. Okay. So my name's Renee. I've been involved with the Us Guys stream for about, I don't know, I guess not November. It was like the month that first kind of connected, and Joseph pulled me in. So here I am. I teach at Canisius College social media marketing. I have a business called Ruby Marcom where I do social media and other marketing, integrated Marcom consulting. You guys can sit down now. But get your cell phone out because you're going to need it. And I also have a website called Raising Boys World, raisingboysworld.com, where it's a community for parents with boys, and it's a lot of fun. So if you have a boy, you better stop by. So change it up. Okay, so basically this is about creativity, and I want to just sort of kind of go back to where we are in the world here. We're all using these great platforms, but there's a lot of creative energy that I think people forget about, and a lot of people say that they're not creative, but you are. So if you don't have the creativity that produces new and valuable ideas and innovation, then the innovation will die, so change. And so basically we need to have environments and workplaces that foster creativity. So we need to have the right environments. So how many of you want to have relationships with your customers and as opposed to one-night stands? Right? Okay, one-night stand might be fun. It's not going to get you very far, though, right? Social media is not about the push messaging, but rather, when we offer opportunities to be creative, we're creating other reasons for communication. Okay, when you look on the surface of the Twitter sphere and you're looking at more of the macro communication or the macro Twitter experience, you can push out your messages, your broadcast messaging, and while it certainly may have content that's related to your business, when you look at the micro relationships on Twitter, you're going to see beneath the surface and really understand the people you're communicating with and develop meaningful relationships. So you'll basically see through the clouds or the sea. But the main thing is you want to just jump up and have a little fun and find reasons to get your customers, your clients excited about your business. And so oftentimes people are, again, pushing out these more broadcast messages or sort of more general communication opportunities. And what's really going to be valuable to you is if you come up with some creative concepts that create engagement. Your customers love you if they're communicating with you and have reached out to take the time to follow you, friend you, like you, whatever. If you ask them to, it was your company's 50th birthday, for example, and you ask them to submit digital cards to post on your Facebook feed to remember your anniversary for your 50th anniversary for your business, if they love your brand, they're going to do it. Make them do things that you know that would be fun for your brand. People work all day, and nobody really wants to go from the business work environment to the big business Twitter sphere. Isn't it more fun to have a little fun and to take life a little bit less seriously so people learn who you are behind the wall? So I sort of think these are good, the 4 C's: creativity, community, clarity, and consistency. And I think we've overlooked the value of creativity in effective social media campaigns. And basically, we all want to, people may not feel that they're creative, but we enjoy the opportunity to take a moment to be creative. So that expression and that demonstration of our emotions. Next. And we can capitalize on that. However, you have to take a moment and step back. If your organization is one that's very traditional and not necessarily open to open and transparent communication, you need to step back, evaluate your organization, and beware, really, of the risks that could potentially be involved with trying to be a social organization. Just because you do social media and have a Facebook page doesn't mean you're social. And I think everybody needs to stop for a moment and recognize that you can stifle communication if you are trying to do social in a closed environment. So you need to encourage that creativity through open communication. Next. Did you know that when you show rewards to people and encourage people through rewards, they're actually less likely to produce for you? And the reason is because there's a lot of stress attached to having to perform that it stifles creativity. However, when you encourage people through a better work environment and more quality of life opportunities, they will perform better for you. So creativity actually is connected to productivity. Next. An effective social strategy is really, in the environment, as the social organization, is much more like a coffee house. Steve Jobs, when he was working for Pixar, he actually worked with the architects to put the bathrooms in the center of the building. And why do you think that was the case? Because he wanted to animate. We all go to the bathroom and we all need to have a drink of water. And so he wanted to create an opportunity for the animators to connect with the engineers in a non-threatening, non-business environment. And so, I mean, you got to think about opportunities for your employees to engage and connect with people that, other than being corralled together in a god-awful meeting, you know, that are enjoyable. And it's much more like the coffee shop mentality. So, next. So, of course, an open organization, a social organization, like an effective social media campaign, needs to be transparent. So, next. And you all have to be listening to what everyone's saying. And when you create a social organization, your employees matter. And when you create an effective social media strategy, the people that are communicating about your brand, your advocates, your ambassadors, they matter. And you don't reply in 6 days. You reply in 6 minutes, if you can. Your brand resides in the hearts and minds of your customers, and it's really their total experience. And you can influence them for the most part, but really you have to expect sometimes there will be failures, but you can do your best to facilitate a successful social, both organizationally and online experience. Next. These are just some like little things I thought you might be interested in. Creativity depends on a variety of different things. Experience, knowledge, technical skills, talent, ability to think in new ways, ability to push through dry spells, and intrinsic motivation. So I'm sure everybody in this room, how many of you are content creators? And how many of you have had, like, you know, one of those moments where you just feel completely brain dead and can't get anything creative out? Okay, and what do you do for that? You can just shout out. You're shy and quiet. What? Keep reading. How many of you read outside of your discipline? Okay, you're more likely to be successful. So, and how many of you are designers? Anyone? And same thing. I mean, what do you guys do to like inspire yourselves? How many of you that are in that group that raised your hands, how many of you love your jobs? Okay, and so you have that intrinsic motivation, right, to kind of get excited about your job, even if you have a kind of brain fart for the day, right? Right? And so the opportunity, because you love your job and you are exposed to elements that kind of can be creative, the best thing to do is to just back away, step off, and go do something else totally and completely unrelated, okay? And that's one of the reasons why I can't even ever imagine having an office, ever. Like in my world, I have contract employees that will work for me on different projects, but I can't imagine why any creative business needs to have an office where people go to work 9 to 5. You know, I feel like in order to do what you love to do, you need to have your own freedoms to do it, and then maybe we meet twice a week in an office or at, you know, a place where it's a conference room and we eat. Because it's all about, you know, life is short and we need to have a little fun. Life is not about work. And you're going to do your work better if you like it. Next. Okay, this is just a video that I think is kick-ass. Okay, so there's this Korean supermarket. They had a really hard time capturing the market, and they were purchased by another company, and they decided they were competing against a company called Home Plus, And they really couldn't come up with any creative ways to penetrate that market because it's a huge audience. And so their goal was to become #1 in this huge audience. And so what they did was they kind of brainstormed, and they thought of creative and innovative opportunities to reach a market that's incredibly busy, incredibly disciplined, and with not a hell of a lot of time. So they did some market research, basically, and they realized that these people just don't have any time. So they thought, what about if they go to the customer? And what they did was they created billboards in subways that exactly mimicked the actual cases at the supermarket. And with their smartphones, they had QR codes, and people could tap into and click the QR code. And with their smartphones, they could literally order items that they want that morning for dinner. And then the difference is what you would actually do is you would indicate what time you wanted to pick it up, and it would be delivered to your house before you came home that night. So they could make dinner and didn't have to leave or go to the supermarket at all. And they were able to actually penetrate the market and gain a huge market share. They're #1 in mobile and #2 in store. So I think it's pretty damn cool. What do you guys think? Right? Yeah? Isn't that amazing? So, I mean, I kind of want that near me. Right? So, anyways, as you can see, they were able to get a much, we'll finish this thing too.
Without having to visit the actual store. Moreover, we could change their waiting time to shopping time. After this campaign, online sales increased tremendously. Through this campaign, 10,287 consumers visited the online HomePlus Mall using smartphones. The number of new registered members rose by 76%, and online sales increased 130%. Currently, HomePlus has become #1 in the online market and is a very close second offline.
So I think that, and I know I probably have like 1 minute left, so and I don't know if any of you have a chance to look at Month at the Museum. The Chicago Science and Industry Museum did an amazing campaign, another one of these outside-the-box things. They had this brilliant idea. Why don't we have people stay overnight for a month and live in the museum for a month and apply to do so online? And I don't know how they got this past the traditional board, but somehow they convinced them, and the board said, okay, sure, not knowing what they were getting into. And what ended up happening was they got thousands of applicants and tons of publicity, more so than they ever thought would even be possible. They were expecting 100 people. They got people applying from Thailand. And so it's just amazing when you think outside the box how much fun you can have and how much you can actually produce. Next. So have fun, take a step back, breathe, enjoy life, and have a lot more fun with the people you're trying to interact with. We're not robots. Nobody reacts well to robots, okay? So, and that's it. Have a good day. Thank you. Thanks for letting me be here.